Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX automatic diesel. This is a 2013 car with just 45,000 miles on the clock, finished in this lovely urban titanium colour which looks absolutely superb on the car. The car's been kept in very nice condition. Front of the car, lights and lenses clear, intact, there's no cracks, no condensation, nothing on there at all. Bonnet of the car, really clean. Can't see any obvious stone chips on there at all. I'm sure there must be, but I can't see anything. Near side, really smooth in the panel work, no indentations that jump out at me. Near side front alloy, really good condition. And then the remaining panels down this side, very nice indeed. Got a real lustre to the paintwork. Near side rear alloy, again, fantastic condition. So it's getting a bit windy, so I hope you can hear me okay. Looking around the back, all very clean and tidy. Left side of the vehicle, absolutely mirror smooth in the panels. Left side rear alloy, again, absolutely superbly clean. And the panel work is wonderful. It's just been kept in just wonderful condition. Final alloy, again, in fantastic condition. So externally, the car can be one of the very nicest out there, I'd imagine. It's coming into the boot area, absolutely enormous boots on the CR-Vs, and unlike so many, it's not been bashed around, it's in wonderful condition. Coming to the back of the car, again, amazing amounts of leg room, and the leather work is absolutely superb. So many, again, of the CR-Vs, just because they're family cars, could be very heavily used in the back, but this is completely the opposite. Coming to the front, again, just been kept beautifully, really has. So finally, driver's side, again, absolutely beautiful condition. The driver's seat itself, one takes all of the wear, shows virtually nothing at all. So inside the car now, engine's running this section so the dash can be seen illuminated. Dashboard looks absolutely as new. It's in fantastic condition here. Sat nav working perfectly. Pop the car into reverse. Get that lovely clear gridded parking camera. All working exactly as it should. But they very rarely turn up as clean as this one. Then up to the main binnacle. Hopefully you can see 45,527 miles, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock wheel nut key, both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX automatic diesel. This car is registered AK13AHK, and mileage currently showing is 45,520. The reason we do all of our videos is very simple indeed. We just want to ensure that if anyone is looking at our cars advertised online, they actually get to see those cars in operation. The reason we feel that's important is very simple. We know to our cost what it's like to go and see a car which looks perfectly good in an advert, only to get there and find out when you drive it it's got a fundamental issue which you'd clearly much rather have known about before setting off. So that is why we do it. It's also done on these lovely quiet country roads in this beautiful part of Gloucestershire. And the reason we go, this is actually forms part of the test drive route we take customers on. So the reason we go on this route is hopefully then it'll be representative of what you would feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, push button starts on the top of the range cars. Car starts absolutely instantly and settles to completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. And temperature gauge, and it's been running for quite some time now, is running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle. The 2.2 i-DTEC engine is a brilliant diesel engine in every single respect. It is everything you'd expect of Honda, incredibly tough and reliable over massive mileages. Timing chain driven, so there's no cam belts to worry about on them at all, so no schedule change on those. So you've got no massive service looming on the vehicle. But what's lovely about the car is, you know, a worthy, reliable engine's one thing, but if it's noisy, growly, grumbly and unrefined and gutless, then it would be no good at all. But this is the opposite of that. It's absolutely brilliant. It's smooth, it's quiet, only realistically or noticeably a diesel at sort of lower speeds, which afflicts every diesel engine. At higher revs and the higher speeds, it's just a very smooth and quiet companion, and it's beautifully matched to the gearbox, because that isn't always the case. Quite often a turbo diesel, especially some of these lower capacity or engines, can be infuriating actually, because they're kind of they give a short surge of power and then die away, which means the gearbox doesn't know what to do. This is brilliant. It's got this broad power band accessible, which means it can hold gear for longer. It's a wonderful unit. And likewise the gearbox, because as I say in pretty much all these automatic gearbox videos, this gearbox was originally never destined for the car. It actually comes out of their flagship Honda Legend car, and that's nearly 300 horsepower. And the reason for that is that the petrol gearbox wouldn't be man enough for the torque that the diesel provides or gives. So rather than develop a completely new one, they've gone for complete engineering overkill for reliability and put that gearbox into it. And it's a lovely gearbox, it really is. Very smooth shifting, very well matched to the engine, and like the engine, unbelievably tough and reliable. Notwithstanding reliability, of course, you should, on any test drive, just make sure that all the gear changes are indeed slick, and they are perfect in this particular example. And when you're stationary, when you're selecting drive or reverse, that there shouldn't be any great delays in the engagement, and there should not be any great clonks or thuds when it goes in. And again, in all respects, it's absolutely fine. Steering of the car, beautifully judged, tracks dead straight, there's no vibration at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. But a lovely power steering system, just feels very car-like on the road, very nicely weighted, much more accurate and precise than you possibly would expect for an SUV type vehicle, and it just feels as tight as it would have done when it was new. Same goes for the chassis of the car, because there's a good reason the CR-V is the best-selling SUV in the world, because they've just hit the sweet spot with it in pretty much every respect of its design. And the chassis is a classic example of that, actually, because what it gives you is a very comfortable, compliant ride. But unlike so many which have gone for one of two options, first option I absolutely despise, which is a kind of soft, pillowy ride, which can feel initially very comfortable, great for test drives, but when you go through some challenging corners, they just flop about and keel over. And the CR-V doesn't do that, so rear seat passengers in particular are very well catered for. The other option, of course, is rock hard suspension, which is just too sporty for this type of vehicle. But these flow through corners beautifully. What I'm also looking out for on road tests, by the way, is any sort of chattering and knocking noises coming from the suspension that shouldn't be there, and there's nothing at all. Worth pointing out, the car is going for an independent MOT, hopefully later today or tomorrow. So all these things will be checked. Normally I'd give the brakes a good old thump. I'm not going to on this car, because it's just had brand new brake pads fitted all round on the vehicle. They were good, they were fine, they were probably a past MOT even without an advisory, but they were low enough for us to think that it was worth doing. So they have been done, and you should bed brakes in obviously over the first couple of 100 miles as much as you possibly can. So, but obviously the brake pedal's perfect. Coming inside, it's in beautiful condition in here, as you'd expect. It's not been cleaned. I mean, it's amazing. It just looks like it doesn't need touching. It's that clean in here. And that's not always the case with CR-Vs. They can be very heavily used by families, obviously. But this one has been absolutely cherished, it's obvious. And beautifully built, absolutely beautifully put together cars. And a lovely dash to sit behind, because it's very, very, very well equipped. But it doesn't faze you. You don't get into it and think, oh my goodness, where do you start? It's really simple to come to terms with. Within a few days of driving a CR-V, you've pretty much mastered it. It's that easy. And very well laid out. You've got the sat-nav, big screen, easy to use, all working perfectly. A dual zone climate control system, which offers you different temperatures side to side. And that blows out absolutely ice cold air, by the way. And what I love with the Hondas, the switch gear, and I know it's a bit nerdy, but it really is beautifully done. You've got that kind kind of rubbery kind of click action to which I really, really love on the car. It's that attention to detail which I've always admired about Honda. Heated seats, of course, working exactly as they should. Dash binnacle in front there, just very simple, beautifully laid out, just gives you the information and no more. It's not over cluttered, again, which is really nice. Steering wheel, small in diameter, leather bound, feels absolutely fantastic and feels like brand new to hold. It's in just beautiful condition there. This is a four-wheel drive version of the CR-V. As I always say, there is no buttons, or there are no buttons to press to engage it. It does it all for you. Basically, if you start to lose grip with the front wheels, because it runs in two-wheel drive pretty much the whole time, it just automatically brings in the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive, and it does it absolutely seamlessly. The advantage of operating in that way, of course, is because you're not using permanent four-wheel drive rather. You're going to get through your tyres more quickly, certainly going to use more fuel and put a lot more mechanical stress through the vehicle, which is why in 3 decades of selling Hondas using this system, we've never so much as put a spanner on any of them using it. It's that good. As I said at the start of the video, the point is very simple indeed. It's literally just to show the car in operation, but to feedback on any issues that might be on the car, of which there is nothing at all. It drives, I hate using the expression because it is really, it's such a used car expression, you know, it drives like new, but it really does. It just feels as tight as a drum, and we've sold thousands of these over the years, so we know them very, very well indeed, and this is a particularly well catered for one. As always though, if you've got any questions about the car, don't hesitate, do give us a call.